Welcome to episode 122 of Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. I'm your host, Angela Watson, and I'm here to speak life, encouragement, and truth into the minds and hearts of educators and get you energized for the week ahead. Today, I'm going to share what I think is your number one job when you don't feel motivated. Visit truthforteachers.com to get the transcript, links to recommended resources, and to share your thoughts on the show. This episode is brought to you by Screencast-O-Matic. It's an easy-to-use screen recorder and video editor tool that makes flipped and blended learning super simple for teachers. You can record your lessons, capture a lecture, give students video assignments, all kinds of things using either your Chromebook or your PC or Mac. Everything you need for editing and publishing your videos is right there in one tool. Get started with 50% off a 1-year subscription at screencastomatic.com/teach. So normally for my podcast episodes, I like to plan out exactly what I'm going to say. So that way I can keep things really tightly focused for you and make sure that I'm covering all my main points without forgetting anything. But I feel like switching things up a little bit today, and I'm going to just speak to you off the cuff. Just speak to you straight from the heart in a way that's a little bit less polished and a little less formal than I normally do for the podcast. And I'm doing that because, honestly, I don't feel particularly motivated today to get this episode done. I love podcasting, but, sometimes it feels like a grind because I have to keep cranking out the episodes week after week. And sometimes I get a little bored with it. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood. Doesn't mean that I don't love it, but sometimes everybody gets in a funk, right? It's the same way with teaching. And today I'm just not feeling very inspired to plan this out, and I need to get it done. So rather than force myself through a creative task, which is rarely a good idea for me, I'm going to just go with this current mood and I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to talk to you today about what I do and what you can do when you're in this type of mood, when you're just not motivated to get things done. There's an idea that I have had bouncing around in my head for a while that I've been experimenting with. And it came to me after listening to a podcast. It was a while back, and I listened to so many podcasts that I can't remember whose it was. But I'm pretty sure that it was James Wedmore's show. He has a podcast called Mind Your Business, and it's about the mindset of running an entrepreneurial business. Now, I'll tell you what he said in a moment. But since listening to that, I've been thinking about these unmotivated moods in a really different way. So the title of this episode, your number one job when you don't feel motivated, it might sound like sort of a clickbaity type of title, but it's actually very sincere. My number one job and yours when we just don't feel motivated to get anything done is to get ourselves motivated to get things done. It's okay to stop forcing ourselves to be productive when we just can't get ourselves there, and instead do things that help us feel more productive. Because, and this is what I've been realizing more and more lately, I'm no good to anyone around me if I'm de-energized and I'm in a bad mood. Getting myself in the right mindset is the foundation. So taking a break from the to-do list to focus on the things that get me energized is part of the work and the productivity. It's not a break from it. It's actually an essential part. Here's what I mean by that, and here's how I learned that in my own life. When I am not inspired, I find that everything takes longer to do. I feel like if I'm not in the mood to do something, I can drag myself through it, and what could have been a 20-minute task takes me like 3 hours. If I'm in a mood where I'm just really motivated, I really want to knock it out, I'm excited about it, I can do it in just a fraction of the time. And I also find that the results just aren't as good when I'm not motivated. So I can sort of force myself, but it's just not going to flow as well, and the quality just isn't going to be there. It's when I'm more motivated. And I find myself sometimes just getting into this trap where I'm focusing on everything that I need to get done. And that just puts more and more pressure on me. So I'm already not motivated. I already don't want to do the things that are on my to-do list. And I just keep thinking about, I got to do it anyway. And I try to force myself to do it. And it doesn't go well because I'm not motivated. And I'm not like in my creative flow, or I'm, feeling tired or whatever it is that's holding me back. And that just makes it worse. So I feel like I'm putting in double the energy and I'm getting half the results. And one day I was listening to this podcast for entrepreneurs. And he was talking about, the podcaster lives in San Diego, and he was talking about every single afternoon he goes surfing. And he said, people used to question him on that and say, how can you possibly make time to go surfing every single day? I mean, you've got so many other things on your plate. You could be using that time to get things done. And he said that when he's outside, when he's in nature, when he's spending time in the place that he loves most, which is at the ocean, it clears his head. It helps him return to work afterward feeling more energized and feeling refocused and feeling more motivated. And he said that his number one job is to stay inspired. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so true. When I hit that wall, it's so much better. I mean, I don't live in San Diego. I can't go surfing, but if I could just go for a walk, like a 15-minute walk, that sometimes will just clear up so much headspace so that I can get more things done. And I realize that he is exactly right, that when you take the time to get yourself motivated, when you really take care of your needs, when you do things that give you more energy, it enables you to get your work done so much better and so much faster. And he said that he felt like his number one job was to do this, was to stay in that motivated space, because without it, nothing else is possible. And I just thought it made so much sense for teachers. I wish I could remember who it was who said this, because it was a long time ago. It might have been Brendan Bouchard. I can't remember. But when I heard it, it changed the way that I approached my work. And I immediately thought of the application to teachers and about how when you are motivated to create lessons and you're in that flow, you come up with amazing ideas. And it happens really quickly. When you're not, you can sit there for hours and just feel like, this is not coming together. I hate doing this. This is not working. Same thing for grading papers, and same thing for your instructional time as well. If you are really present with the kids in the classroom and engaged with them and connected with them, you can have a great day together. But when your head's just not in the game, it can be a really miserable experience where you're just watching the clock and waiting for that last bell to ring and for the kids to go home. So I think that staying inspired is super important. And I'm going to share with you how I stay inspired when I don't feel like doing something. Instead of focusing on being productive and just pushing through, just do it anyway, got to get it done, I try to focus now on doing whatever it takes for me to get inspired. And I think a lot of people have never really thought about this beyond maybe just having like a playlist that motivates them, right? Like a lot of us have like a playlist that we can listen to when we're exercising or going to the gym, or playlist for cleaning the house, a playlist for, whatever you need to get yourself pumped up for. We understand the power of music to impact our mood and to get us in the right mindset. But that's pretty much the extent of the tools that most of us have, just music. And there's a lot more that you can add to your toolbox than just that. So music is powerful. Having these playlists that sort of get you motivated is a good thing. For me, being outside in nature is really important. I need to go for a quick walk every single day. Just being outside, I'll listen to podcasts, I'll listen to music. Sometimes I'll just have silence and just sort of think about my day, think about what I've accomplished already, practice gratitude, think about all the amazing things that I've been able to do rather than thinking about what I haven't done yet. And just sort of letting my mind dream of possibilities. We don't have enough time for our minds to wander. You all know how big I am on intentional connectivity and not just defaulting to scrolling through our phones every time that we have 2 minutes to ourselves. Use that time to just let your mind wander. Let your mind think about things that you don't normally have time to think about, or just think about nothing. Just being present with wherever you're at. All of those things help you clear space in your head so that you can get re-inspired and you can get motivated again. Another thing that really helps me is getting out around other people who are inspiring and motivating. And that might be getting together with friends. It might be going to conferences. It might be getting on Voxer, which is a voice messaging app so you can talk back and forth. I try to surround myself with people who inspire me. And when I feel like I don't have the motivation to get things done, I know that I can just check in with them, just see what they're doing, just be around their energy. And I hope that I do the same thing in the reverse for them, because we all have these moments and these time periods where you just don't feel very motivated. And I think it's good to have other people that can lift you up. Another thing that I do is I listen to audiobooks. I'm really intentional about what I fill my mind with, because I find that when I immerse myself in an audiobook, audiobooks are generally 4, 5, 6, sometimes even more than 7 hours long. And if you think about letting someone speak something into your mind and heart for 7 hours, that has a major impact on your outlook and your perspective and the way you see the world and the way that you're feeling, right? Because what you're thinking about creates your feelings. So really being intentional about what I'm listening to and choosing books that I feel like are going to help me develop as a person, that really makes a big difference too. So sometimes if I feel like I need to get something done and I just can't get myself in the headspace, I'll go for a walk or sit outside or just, try to just get a few minutes to just listen to this audiobook that I feel like is going to uplift me and center me and help me stay focused on what matters. And sometimes I won't even go back to that task to try it again until I feel like I'm in a better headspace. Now, that's not always possible. Sometimes there's just things that you need to get done anyway, but I'm a big believer in showing ourselves grace and not trying to force ourselves to perform at a peak level 24/7. We're not robots. We have emotions, we have hormones, we have, different things going on in our lives, and we just can't expect ourselves to always be productive all the time. And there's a lot of times when I feel like, I'm just not going to be able to get this done the way that I need to. And if I stop right now and I take time to focus on my number one job, which is not to get all these things done, but to stay inspired and motivated and fired up to do the things in my life that I'm called to do, to take care of my responsibility, to serve other people, to be a good wife, to be a good friend, to be a good educator. When I really get myself in the mindset where I see the purpose for that and I'm excited about it, all the other things just fall into line. And even the more mundane tasks then take on a greater meaning because I'm connected to my purpose. So sometimes I'll just sit back and say, you know what? I really should be getting X, Y, and Z done tonight, but I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take a hot bath and I'm going to listen to this audiobook. Or I'm going to watch this documentary that I know is going to help me, understand this one thing better, or, really jog my thinking in this task that I'm struggling with, or, this problem that I'm struggling with, and just open me up to new possibilities, have these breakthroughs. And then once my mind starts to get going and I start to feel excited about something again, all of my energy returns. So the last thing that I want to share with you about this is to remember that inspiration often comes in really unlikely places. It may not come from where you're expecting. So it's good to fill your toolbox with these things like playlists and audiobooks, podcasts, being around people, having conversations with other people. But I found also that inspiration will come whenever I shake up my regular routine and I get out of my normal way of doing things. And I find that travel is a great way to do that. And it doesn't have to be this, big expensive vacation to an exotic place. My husband and I go down and visit my grandmother in Virginia. Usually every 3 months we do that. And, she lives sort of in the middle of nowhere in Virginia. It's not a super exciting time, but it's a change of pace. And I find that the long drive there, my mind can just go to all different types of possibilities. Like I'm able to just sort of be still and think and just let my mind go a little bit on the drive. And then once I'm down there, it's a slower pace. We're just sort of relaxing. The whole point of being there is just to spend time with her. She's 90 years old. We just want to enjoy her and listen to her stories and, watch old movies with her. And just that change of pace, I find, motivates me to get so much more done. I'm so fired up and excited about my work because I have a chance to stop thinking about it for a little while. I'm changing up my daily routines. I'm eating different things. I'm sleeping in a different bed. I'm getting up at a different time. I'm going to bed at a different time. Just, shaking things up sometimes is what's needed to kind of knock the barnacles off. You know what I mean? It just helps your mind see new possibilities that you wouldn't have ever been able to see before. So if you can incorporate any kind of change in your routine. And it might be travel, or it might be just a change of routine at home if travel's not possible for you. But use that to help you stay inspired and stay looking for this inspiration that's going to come from unlikely places. Look for ways to do things outside of what you normally do. And just when you're more present, I think you'll find that inspiration really is all around you. There are motivating, exciting things happening all around you, but a lot of times we're just too busy to notice it. I tend to get lost in my own head a lot, and I'll find that, I completely tune out things that are happening around me. And that's great for when I'm doing deep work, but a lot of times I'm just missing stuff. I'll walk past a window and I'll see that the sun is setting. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I need to stop what I'm doing and just look at this for 30 seconds. Just take it in. Those types of moments are what help you connect to something greater than yourself. And whatever problem it was that you were worrying about is suddenly going to feel a lot more insignificant. It helps you put things in perspective when you stop and you're present and you're looking for that inspiration. So I hope that if you're struggling this time of year, and I think that spring is one of the hardest times for teacher motivation, I hope that you will think about this. The end of the year is wrapping up. The freshness and newness of the beginning of the year is over. You've been trapped in a classroom with the same personalities for the entire year, and you're kind of over it at this point. You're ready to have a fresh start. You're ready to have a break. And it's just, you're not very inspired to try something new. And I think that's part of the reason why teachers get stuck in a rut in the spring, because they figure, it's just too late, right? School's going to be out in a couple weeks. I don't want to change things up now. I don't want to try anything different because, I don't want to confuse the kids, or frankly, I just don't have the energy. I just don't feel like trying something new. And so we get stuck into these routines that we've become bored with. And a lot of times our students have become bored with them too. They're ready for something different. They get just as restless in the spring as we do, right? We know they get spring fever. So why not switch things up a little bit? Why not shake up the routines and try to get them more motivated and inspired too? Try something different. It doesn't have to be something complicated, but just look for inspiration and motivation in unlikely places. Bring that to your classroom too. And use that to keep you inspired and motivated during the last couple weeks of school. Don't just drag yourself through this end here and just hope that you can make it through and count down till summer. Each one of these days that you have is precious. And if you focus on staying inspired and staying motivated and staying focused on your purpose instead of focusing on checking things off on a to-do list, I think you'll find that your energy and your motivation return at much greater levels. Checking things off on a to-do list is sort of satisfying, but it just doesn't have the same value as focusing on getting inspired and getting motivated, right? Because there's just something deeper that you're tapping into when you're focusing on what inspires you. So don't get too caught up on those to-do lists. Think about the reason behind the to-do list. What are you doing all of this for? All of this work that you're doing for your students, what's the purpose of it? It's to help them learn and grow, right? So stay focused on the kids. Stay focused on connecting with them and being present with them in the classroom instead of letting your mind always race ahead to all the things that you need to get done. When you think about what's the purpose of getting everything done at home? Well, it's so you can enjoy your family, right? So instead of focusing on, I got to do the dishes, I got to vacuum, I got to run this errand, I got to go do this, be present. Be present with your family. That's going to help you stay more inspired and more focused instead of just trying to get as much done as possible. So I hope that these words have been helpful to you as you think about what you want to focus on in the coming weeks. Remember, your number one job as a teacher, stay inspired, stay motivated, take care of yourself, do things that feed your energy and your enthusiasm so you can bring that energy and enthusiasm in the classroom. Have a great week. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it. Want more than just a weekly podcast episode from me? I'd love to also send you a weekly message of encouragement via email. I'll reach out each Sunday evening with a short message that's designed to help you feel more prepared and inspired and motivated for the week ahead. It's not a newsletter or a bunch of announcements. This goes out to over 85,000 educators. So I put just as much thought into crafting this weekly written message to my email list as I do into crafting my podcast episodes. And it's entirely unique content that you won't find anywhere else online. Just go to thecornerstoneforteachers.com/subscribe and you can sign up. That's thecornerstoneforteachers.com/subscribe.